So this movie is about array constants. We're going to use the small function in several examples to display array constants, beginning with a vertical constant, and then we'll look at a horizontal constant, and then we'll combine those two and build a two-dimensional array constant. And then finally, we're going to name an array constant and then talk about some reasons why you might want to do that. So array constants and the small function. The small function has two arguments. One is an array, and the second one is the k argument. K is the number that this small function will return. 1 will give you the smallest value, 2 will give you the second smallest value, 3 the third smallest value, and so on. So in the first example, we have a small function that references cells G11 to G20 as the array, and the k argument is defined to be 2. So we get the second smallest value, which is 50. So we're going to build the small function, only this time we're going to build it with an array constant that we're going to manually type into the cell. Again, the array is the same, cells G11 to G20. K is defined to be an array constant made up of 1, 2, 3. When we have a comma in an array constant, we are telling Excel to move one column over to the right. And when we enter an array constant in a formula that's going to generate a resultant array, which is what this is, we got a result that is an array. It's the numbers 40, 50, and 60, the first, second, and third smallest numbers in the array. When we enter this, we have to select 3 cells. So I'm going to enter the small function, select the array of numbers, comma, and manually type the array constant, beginning with the left curly bracket, 1, 2, 3, closing it with the right curly bracket, and then closing the function with the right parentheses. And then I'm going to press enter. And what happens? Well, not what we wanted to happen. So I'm going to enter that again. I'm going to select the array, comma, left curly bracket, 1, 2, 3, separated by a comma, right curly bracket, close the formula with the right parentheses, Control, Shift, Enter, and I have my resultant array in those 3 cells, 40, 50, 60. The third example is similar, but instead of separating our array constants with commas, we're separating it with semicolons, which tells Excel to move down 1 row. So it's really the exact same thing, the small function, the array, comma, left curly bracket, 1 semicolon, 2 semicolon, 3, close the curly bracket, close the parentheses, Control, Shift, Enter, and we get a resultant array in those 3 cells. Now, since this is a resultant array, we can't cut and paste part of that formula. We're going to get an error. We can't copy and paste part of that formula. We also can't delete part of the formula. I just pressed the delete key. I can cut and paste the entire formula, but a resultant array that displays the value in several different cells is an object unto itself. And we're going to build one more array constant using both a comma and the semicolon. And since we're going to build one that's two-dimensional with 2 cells by 2 cells, I'm going to start with a small function, select the array, comma, left curly bracket, 1 comma to go over a column, 2 semicolon to go down a row, the third smallest number, comma to go over a column, and the 4th smallest number, closing the curly bracket and the parentheses, Control, Shift, Enter, and I get my resultant array in a 2-dimensional format. Now you can do as we did, manually type in array constants, but there's a much easier way to generate an array constant than doing it that way. And if you have a large one you want to store, you wouldn't want to have to type it all out. So we don't have an extremely large one. We've got a 2-dimensional array constant that we're going to create here that is 4 different discount codes. I made them up. It's A, B, C, D, 5, 10, 15, and 20%. Now, there are several ways to do this, but the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to build a Vlookup function. I'm going to look up D, comma, in the table array, which is going to become our array constant. I'm going to take the second value, close the parentheses, and Control Enter, so I'm still in the cell. I'm going to get into the edit mode by double-clicking the cell, or you can press F2. I'm going to select Table Array, and then I'm going to press F9 to convert that table array into an array constant. I'm going to Control Enter once again. And now I'm going to go up in the formula bar and carefully select my array constant and the curly brackets. And then press Control C to copy that into the clipboard. Press Escape. Go to the Formulas tab, go to the Name Manager, and I'm going to create a new name and call it Discounts. I'm then going to select everything to the right of the equal sign and press Control V to paste that array constant into the Refers To field. Left-click OK, and then close the dialog box. So now I can rebuild my VLOOKUP, looking up the letter D again, comma, beginning to type out discounts, and there it is. That's our named array constant that we just set up. Tab that into the cell, comma, get the second column, close the parentheses, Control Enter, and it returns 20%, just as the other lookup function did, that now has the array constant actually within the lookup function itself. So why would you want to do that? Well, one reason why you might want to do it is it makes it difficult to change the referenced values. Now, somebody that knows about this functionality could obviously change the values, but if they don't, and all they have is the name discounts as the reference for the discount plans, well, then you've pretty much protected those rates, those discount rates, from being inadvertently changed, because you got to go through several steps to change them. The second reason why you might want to do it is you make the array constant available wherever you are in the workbook. If you have 40 or 50 different worksheets and you want to access these discount plans, it might not be an easy thing to find the location, the physical location of the cells that contain those discount plan values. But wherever you are in the worksheet, now I'm on the same sheet here, but I can just type in discount, tabbing that into the cell, and regardless of where I am in the workbook, I can access that table. And the third reason why you might want to do it is it makes updates easier, because you can go into the Name Manager, edit the discounts table, and let's say we want to make D 30%. And when you make that change, everywhere in every formula that you're referencing that array constant by using the name discounts, the result of the formula will be updated with that new value. So we talked about array constants. We talked about the small function and how it has 2 arguments, the array argument and the k argument. We used the small function to build a resultant array, first a vertical resultant array and then a horizontal resultant array, and then we built a 2-dimensional resultant array. We did those things by manually typing in an array constant into the function. We found out that there's another way to set up, and a better way to set up an array constant, and that is to select the argument after pressing F2 or getting into the edit mode, and then press F9 to convert the reference of that range that contains what you want to become the array constant to an array constant. You can then copy that out of the formula bar and set up a named range that references that array constant, and then use that name as a reference for those values in formulas.